Should we talk about some books? Like all the books on my shelf? Welcome to my channel. My channel's pretty new, so you're probably new here. I thought today we could look at all of the books on my physical TBR shelf, which is honestly not a lot because I am a library girl. I wish this was a beautiful bookcase full of books, but it's not right now. Instead, I go to the library often, but I do have a good stack of books here that are on my TBR that I've had for a while. Some are new, and then some are from the library. So let's look and see what I have. So this is a series that I want to finish this year. And the book I have is The Fallen and the Kiss of Dusk by Carissa Broadbent. I actually went to an author event where she gave an interview and she talked about the launch of this book. Now I have not read, so I've read in the whole Crowns of Nyaxia series, I've read books 1 and book 2. I have not read the book that comes right before this. I actually got it from the library twice last year and just never picked it up because I've heard such polarizing reviews on it, so it makes me nervous because I loved book 1 and 2. Love Rain. But I loved going to the author visit, and I would have gotten this signed, but the line was hours long, so I didn't end up getting it signed. However, I've heard really good reviews on this one, that the one before this, not so great, but then this one is a really good book. So this series as a whole is on my must finish in 2026. Okay, I just bought this. I had a gift card from Christmas and I went to Barnes & Noble. I just bought The Will and the Many. This is on my no excuses must read in 2026 list because it was on my TBR last year. I didn't own it last year, but I bought it so that I will read it. And book 2 is out. So now if I love it, I can get right into book 2. But it sounds very kind of fantasy mixed with sci-fi. I really don't know too much about it. I just know that this is an author, James Islington, if that's how you say it, that I might end up loving, that people are loving. And this book has gotten so many great reviews. So bought it, no excuses reading it this year. I also have Metal Slinger with the ugly Target sticker that I need to get off. So I bought this in the summer. I was just at Target I think I was getting one of the Boys of Tommen books that I needed because I needed to keep reading that series, and this was on sale. It might have been like a buy one get one 50% off. So I had heard of Metal Slinger this summer and decided to pick this one up with it. Never ended up reading it last year. I feel very left out. It's a fantasy by Rachel Schneider, and everyone was talking about it last year. So this is on my no excuses must read. I own it. Let's read it in 2026. And I do know that I guess the ending nobody has seen. Like anybody that read it last year, everyone was shocked by the ending. So I love a twist. I love an ending that I can't predict because I'm finding that when I read a lot of romantasy books now, I'm predicting, I still love it, don't get me wrong, love them, but I'm predicting the endings easily or predicting the plot easily. I heard that this is not the case. We shall see, and I'm excited to dive in. I finally got Caught Up by Liz Tomforty. This is a library book. I don't own this one. I had read Mile High and can't think of number 2. It's in here somewhere. Can't find it. But I've read book 1 and 2. Book 1 did not really like. I think I rated it like 2 or 3 stars. So I've listened to book 1 and book 2 audio. I cannot find the audio version of this. There's a European version in another language out there, but I can't find a free, or I use Spotify a lot. I use Hoopla and I use Spotify a lot for my audiobooks, and I can't find this, specifically book 3 on audio anywhere. So I got it from the library but I was so about book one, felt like it dragged. Book two, though, I loved. And then I hear the series just gets better and better. So I'm very much looking forward to finishing the whole Windy City series this year. And I can officially keep going because I have caught up. And then the next book is on audio. So caught up, I'm going to be reading in the next month or two because I have to get this one back to the library. Another library book that I have that I need to read in the next month because it's due back is Silvercloak by L.K. Stephen. And this book is written by the same author who wrote Our Infinite Fates, which I read in December and I loved. Our Infinite Fates was YA. So this is her first dabble at adult fiction and specifically fantasy. And I've heard from people who have read both her YA books and this one that this one is an incredible, first adult book for L.K. Stephen. So I'm very, very excited. It has a very detailed map. Let's read the first sentence. Silvercloak. The Caloran's front door changed color depending upon who knocked. Interesting. Silvercloak, I am very much anticipating that this is going to be at least a 4, if not 5-star read. So I will let you know as soon as I read it in the next month or two. I bought this with a gift card a couple weeks ago. The Poppy wore R.F. Kuang, I think. She also wrote Catabasis, if I'm pronouncing it right, which I had on my shelf from the library back in like November. Didn't quite get around to it, had to return it. So that one is also on my to read for 2026 list. But the Poppy War, I heard, is a beautiful and like gut-wrenching story. It's a mixture of historical fiction and fantasy, and I love both of those genres. Set in, I believe, Asia. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this book, but I think it's going to make me cry or want to rip my heart out. I don't know, maybe both. Yeah, I'm going to have to be in the right mood to pick this up. So luckily I own this, so I can just wait for the right month to read this when I feel like when I feel like reading a book that's going to tear my heart out. If I love it, then I will buy book 2. I have this book from the 4 Horsemen series. It's book 1 by Laura Thalasa. I'm so bad at names. Got this at a secondhand shop and just thought it looked intriguing. This is book 1 out of 4. And I think the reason this has sat on my shelf for over a year, I think the reason I haven't quite jumped into this is because if I like it, there are 4 books, and that's another new series that I'm committing to. And I feel like I need to finish some series that I've already started. So I haven't dove into this yet, but it sounds intriguing in that there are 4 horsemen that come for this girl named Sarah. Let me just read you the back, okay? The first of the horsemen comes for Sarah Burnstown. One thing is certain, everyone she knows and loves is marked for death, unless, of course, the angelic-looking horseman is stopped, which is exactly what Sarah has in mind when she shoots the unholy beast off his steed. Too bad no one told her Pestilence can't be killed. Alive and furious, the horseman takes Sarah prisoner, determined to make her suffer for impeding his mission. Despite her pleas, nothing and no one gets in the way of his orders to destroy humankind. Only the longer Pestilence spends beside Sarah's bravery and compassion, the more he seems to understand her and humanity. And the longer Sarah travels with him and his plague, the more uncertain she grows about his true feelings toward her and towards him. Sarah might be still able to save the world, but she'll have to sacrifice her heart in the process. It sounds up my alley. However, it's a commitment. Maybe this will get picked up this year. Maybe it'll sit on my shelf for a whole nother year. I don't know. Another book that has just sat on my shelf because I got it secondhand and I really don't know much about it other than it looked like something I would be interested in is Kingdom of the Wicked. A quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself. It looks like a dark fantasy, clearly. It says 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. I just picked it up because it looked like my cup of tea at the secondhand shop. You know, it was $1. I don't know, maybe this will be a pleasant surprise. Okay, I am, being basic, I guess, and reading Red Rising this year. I bought this the other day at Barnes & Noble with The Poppy War and The Will of the Many. And yeah, I don't care that everybody else is doing it. I'm doing it too. I do love a mixture of fantasy and sci-fi, and the premises of this book sounds really intriguing in that it's set on Mars, and there's this whole caste system, and part of the world lives underground, and they have no idea that there's a whole nother community living above ground. I am here for it. I am fully prepared to invest in all 3 books of this trilogy, but I'm going to read this one first, and then if I love it, I will go out and buy book 2 and 3. I also have from the library Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, another one where it seems like everybody else is reading it, so why shouldn't I? And this one, you guys, I have a secret library. I live in the mountains in Colorado, and I go to libraries in this very suburban town outside of Denver. However, there are always like a million holds on a book, but then I have this small mountain library that's 10 minutes from my house, and anytime I go there, the hottest reads are just sitting right on the shelf, just waiting for me. They're like, Amanda, check me out. This one the other day was sitting right there. I wasn't going to the library for it, but I was like, yeah, mine. So I have no idea what this is about. I just see it everywhere. I have not read anything by Rebecca Ross. Let's just pick a random sentence. Okay. The sleeping pup drew a breath, inflating his sides like a wine flask, but he did not wake. Tells me nothing. I would love to hear if you've read this one and if you liked it. So far on my Goodreads, I only see 4 stars and above for this book. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books that I have on my TBR. I don't know much about a lot of them, but I know that they've been rated highly. I want to know if they're also on your TBR list. Anything I left out that I must read in 2026. Thank you for listening and hanging out with me. If you want to know more, if you want to follow along with my reading journey, then don't forget to hit subscribe.